Hello everyone, checking in. It's been a little bit since I made a video, so I'm excited to connect with you again today. I'm out here going vlog style. Check out this beautiful scenery I'm in. In case you haven't heard enough of my videos, I want to remind you to go ahead and get out into nature. You're probably feeling a lot of stress right now, probably confused about some of the things going on in your life, probably have too many demands and not enough time, but it's important and valuable to take this time to get into nature. Connect with trees, connect with who you really are. This is untouched wilderness. It is my true landscape. I live in a part of the world at the moment that's full of houses and roads and traffic. And a lot of people like to get out into nature, but they go up into the mountains or they go out into the ocean. This is a national park right in our backyard that is often underappreciated, and I really love it because I feel like I'm connecting with my actual landscape, the place where I actually live. And you know, the entire ocean of suburbia that I currently call home once looked like this. You know, it once looked like this. These trees, these are the distant relatives of the trees that were cut down to build the cul-de-sac I live on. So that people could have monocrops of shortly cut grass that they can, I don't know, feel accomplished by mowing. I don't understand it. I don't get it. This is way more beautiful than a lawn. But I'm digressing. But this is kind of on topic. It's kind of on topic because today I want to talk about stuff. That's what I want to talk about today. I've been going through a process of clearing out a lot of old beliefs, a lot of old identities, and with that has come the elimination of a lot of physical possessions. And if you are familiar with the minimalist lifestyle, then you know what this is like. A lot of people talk about the benefits of having less stuff. You have, you know, more money. You can find the things you need more easily. You can travel with less restriction. You can relocate with less restriction. You can just have a less cluttered space. You can live in a smaller home and have less environmental impact. There's a million YouTubers out there talking about the benefits of minimalism. But I want to talk about the energetics of minimalism. Have you ever tried to get rid of some of your stuff and not been able to? You look at something you own and you say, oh, but this makes me remember that person who I haven't talked to in 5 years, and oh, I can't get rid of this because it feels sentimental, and oh, I can't get rid of this because I might use it someday, and I feel bad about the fact that I bought it and I haven't used it, so I'm gonna hold on to it just in case I decide to use it someday. You're probably familiar with these stories. I'm familiar with these stories. I've had these stories running through my head with my stuff many, many years. And I've been on the minimalist train for a while now. Been a minimalist advocate for several years. But I still had a closet full of stuff. A pretty big closet full of stuff. That was that stuff. The stuff I couldn't get rid of because it was wrapped up in all these sentiments and feelings and fears. And this week, I got rid of it. I got rid of like 90% of it. And it feels so good. And it was hard. I'm not gonna lie, it was hard. And there were some emotional moments, and I'm still working through it because there is a deep energetic connection to that stuff. That stuff literally represents parts of myself that are not processed, parts of myself that I haven't worked through. My external environment is a reflection of myself. That is nowhere is that more true than with your personal possessions that you feel attached to and can't get rid of even though you're not using. All those things that I bought but hadn't used, I didn't want to get rid of them because I felt shame. There was a part of myself that hadn't forgiven myself for those financial decisions and that was judging myself for being irresponsible with money. And that's tied into a belief of scarcity, that there's a limit of money. And that because I made this decision financially years ago to buy this thing that I didn't use, that's somehow affecting me now. Because, well, there's a limit of money. You see all those layers? There's a lot of layers to this one little thing in my closet that I wasn't using, but I spent money on. And getting rid of that something can be an opportunity. Depends on how you do it. You can just chuck it out mindlessly, or you can spend some time with it and you can really feel all those feelings and observe all those layers and forgive yourself and accept yourself and let go of that judgment and say, I made a decision to buy this thing in this moment because I thought it would help me. I thought it would serve me. Life took me in a different direction, and now I no longer need it. And that's okay. And I'm abundant, and I'm not a bad person for spending that money. And what I need in the future, I will be able to access. I will be able to do what I need to do when I need to do it because I'm abundant. And this purchase I made 2-3 years ago is not going to prevent me from doing that. Right? And you can feel that as you throw that item away or whatnot. Some of the more personal stuff, so that's a sort of a financial thing. Some of the more personal stuff, I have a bunch of journals. I have a bunch of journals that I wrote in high school and college. And a lot of them are very dark and depressing, and they're very caught up in who I was before I really started working on myself and healing at a deep level. And I go back and read those notebooks and I see how far I've come, but I also see how much I'm still working on and how so many of the loops and layers that I'm still working on now have been with me for a very long time. And it allows me to give myself a little bit more credit. Like, hey man, you're working through some deep conditioning. And so I have these journals, and I'm planning a ceremony where I'm going to go and I'm going to camp out and I'm going to start a fire and I'm going to go through each one and I'm going to sort of skim through them and find any pages that stand out to me, and I'm going to read them and I'm going to let go of that person I was. One page at a time, one journal at a time. And I'm going to let the fire consume it. I'm going to give thanks for that experience. I'm going to say, thank you so much for this journal. Thank you so much for my ability to express my emotions, because it got me through the darkest times of my life. It got me through. Thank you so much. And as I leave this for the fire, as I allow the fire to consume this, I give thanks that I'm no longer that person, and I no longer need to fill dozens of journals full of scribbles about self-loathing and fear and resentments towards the world. I don't need to do that anymore because I've healed and I'm healing and I'm learning how to use my energetics and my emotions to serve me. I'm learning how to express myself in a way that is even more healing. So that's what I'm going to do with those journals. And there were other things that I let go of too, things that reminded me of certain people in my life. People are no longer a part of my life. And so I had to do something very similar and say, you know what, thank you for this person, for being in my life. Thank you so much for being in my life. But we've gone different directions now, and I no longer need to hold on to this thing that reminds me of you. Because I want to make space for new people to come into my life. People who are on the similar path as I am, who can support me where I am here and now. And thank you so much for the support that you gave me at that time in our lives. Thank you so much that we could share that place and that time. I honor it and I cherish it and I let it go. I used to be an avid musician, and my health problems that I was facing with chronic pain left me unable to play music. And music was this art form that I expressed my darkest sentiments and my darkest frustrations and all my anger. Expressed all of them through music. And then when I couldn't play music anymore, it was like I lost everything that I ever loved. It, like I didn't know who I was. It was the most catastrophic experience I've ever gone through. And And so I spent years trying to play music again. Having a very difficult relationship with music. And a few years ago, I let go of most of that. I sold all my instruments. I stopped playing. I stopped trying to play. It was always a struggle with my body. I just let go of it. Just let go. I had this moment where I realized I don't actually need to do this anymore, and this doesn't have to be who I am. When I spent years figuring out who I am, and I'm still figuring it out. But I'm not that guy anymore. I'm not that musician. I'm not that self-loathing, angry punk who would scream into the microphone every chance he had and just thrash out and pour my heart out, in basements and warehouses and dilapidated punk houses. Those were beautiful experiences in my life. I love them so much, but it's not who I am anymore. And so I got rid of the last of my music collection. I gave away my CDs. I gave away my cassette collection. I sold the last few vinyls that I had. And the only music I have now is on my computer. And I might clean out some of that, because a lot of that doesn't represent me anymore. I don't need to hold on to all those hardcore records. I don't listen to them anymore. The really dark stuff. I don't need that anymore. I can let that go. If I ever really want to hear it again for sentimental reasons, there's a million streaming services where I can go find it. I don't need it taking up space in my computer. And this is the key thing. Your physical space is a reflection of you. And if it's taking up space in your space, then it's taking up energy in your energy. And so many times in life, this is what's holding us back from moving forward. There are energetic entanglements to past identities, beliefs, relationships, fears. And there are many ways that we can work through that. Many, many ways we can work through that. But I find getting rid of my stuff to be such a powerful way to do it. And I think a lot of people would benefit from that. There's a massive dragonfly over there. Man, it's so beautiful. I don't know if I've seen one that big. That's so big. That's cool. Well, get out into nature, see what stuff you can get rid of, and figure out what energy blocks. What's holding you back, What's holding you back? The universe wants you to succeed. You came here for a purpose. You have important work to do while you're here. You have important gifts to develop and to give to the world. If you didn't, you wouldn't be here. What's stopping you from developing those gifts? What's stopping you from being the person you came here to be and contributing your fullest passion, your fullest expression of yourself to the world? Maybe it's some past identities, beliefs, and relationships. And maybe getting rid of the stuff that you associate with those identities will help you move forward. Thank you so much for joining me today. Hope this helped you. Help me to make it. Much love.